Well, welcome. Thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate the acceptance of my delay, but here we are. It is Monday, September 15th, right? Yeah, it's Monday, September 15th. Um, and yeah, this is USDTD. We'll start off with USDTD, and then we'll kind of work our way through all the major ones, all the major charts, and then go from there. So first off, to start, we have our monthly candle that has opened, and we're now basically halfway through, right? Flipped red, still at range low of previous month, right? So if we close here, it is slightly bullish, very slightly, because we're respecting the 50% of this order block right here, right? This previous monthly that we are basically just bouncing on. And we want to reject it, really, if we want to see a real bull run, which, I think we're not going to see bull runs as you may be familiar with, but rather we're going to see cycles, right? Small cycles where we see really good pumps after really good dumps and vice versa. So with that said, one of the things I noticed with this monthly is that this monthly never tapped and actually mitigated this order block here. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of chop, a lot of back and forth between this range. And based on that bias, if we're talking about the weekly, the same thing. We are in weekly bullish bias here, but we did tap this bearish level. So we could reject between this range, but what I don't want to see, or actually really what I'm expecting, is if we continue to push the highs here and then reject and still go to the 4.73. Now on the high time frame, the monthlies that are open are down here at the 3.4. This could take a while to get to, and I basically foresee us going to this level at some point in time, probably this year. This would be a major pump, right? If we do see something like a big sweep down, but I honestly don't think we're quite there yet. I think there's a lot of chop in the market right now, all things considered, right? The daily, we bounced on this bullish block right now and have been basically just chopping between this range. A lot of charts you'll probably see this across all of them, where you have liquidity to the high and you'll have liquidity to the low, and you're basically just stuck trying to figure out what direction to trade, right? And that's why the best way to handle scenarios like this is really to just wait for the extremes. Wait for the extremely low discount or the extremely low high premium and only trade against that. Or you risk size against the previous high or previous low on the high time frame, because again, guys, the high time frame always wins. So what I want to see here in the daily, we just printed this Monday candle, right? If we continue to push to the lows, there's basically one or two things that could happen. We could chop back to this range low and still be bullish, right? This range was never taken. The 4.6 was never taken on the daily, and this is clean, smooth liquidity to the low, right between here and 4.10. So honestly, I would expect us to continue to chop, really, continue to chop around, and you have to play each range accordingly. So if we're assuming we're going to chop on this range, then I would actually expect prices to go down a little bit more, right? Rather, USDT to go up a little bit more, prices to go down a little bit more, but then reject from this range and this previous order block right here, and then actually flip into the bullish bias, right? We see a very quick kind of a manipulation pump, right, and a dump in USDT in the market, probably sometime later this month. However, this would mean that is actually the bullish bias for this range, and if we happen to consolidate anywhere here above 4.2, guess what's going to happen? Another flash dump, right? And we're going to clear the range of this liquidity on the 4.7. Now, this is where this range is basically going to try and take out both longs and shorts until we see the real bullish move. The real bullish move has yet to happen and will probably not happen until everyone least expects it. Right now, everyone is too bullish, right? And we're seeing these range lows retested. Everyone's too bullish. You're seeing Sol, about to break its all-time high. You're seeing hype at its all-time high. You're seeing Bitcoin maybe retesting its previous range high. All of these things are kind of feeding you the narrative of FOMO, right? Get out of that narrative because it won't work. In reality, you just got to play the ranges as is. This liquidity is still open, right? We are not going to leave this liquidity on the table. Market makers do not want to do that. So what do they want to do? They want to chop everyone up. They want to basically make everyone feel like it's bullish, but end up sweeping the lows. Then everyone thinks it's bearish, right? Everyone thinks it's bullish because we're breaking this low right here. They won't realize that all we're doing is retesting this range order block, and there's liquidity to the high, and they're going to run it right back up, liquidate all those longs. Everyone who's been long, probably in October, right, mid to late October, that'll be when we then start to see the real move all the way back down to 3.4. So range on USDTD still very, very iffy. Basically a landmine field. So just be careful with that. But with that said, I'm going to get into each coin individually because every coin is different. So let's start with Bitcoin and we'll go from there. I'm going to do Bitcoin. Ethereum I can do, but Ethereum's a little weird here. So with Bitcoin, I had a limit right here, a short limit. I think it was like right here. I called it out. Maybe it was like 15 or something. It was like 15.20, basically right here somewhere. My average, I'm still short, right? But my SL is all the way up here. So I am in very, very lightly. I have short limits layered up here that I actually already called out. And I expect if we do sweep these highs again, this is going to be the liquidity take that I'm talking about, where we sweep the low on USDTD. We see a manipulation pump. That manipulation pump is purely just going to be an exit liquidity pump where you will need to short. If you're long on this range, this is actually a terrible spot to long, to be honest, because we're literally about to tap the bearish high time frame levels, right? If you want to scalp it, sure. But if we cannot close above 117 on the weekly, Bitcoin is done, guys. It's over. This is the all-time high. Period. End of sentence. That's it. So I am shorting this. I'm going to basically be adding to my short as we push up above 120. I have layered limits, as I mentioned, all the way up. And I expect this to break the low again and continue the bearish structure against 107. Even if we do break this low one more time, I will then continue to add to my shorts every single time we do a pullback above 110, right? Because structure will be confirmed at that point on the monthly, such that the high time frame draws will still be under 90,000. So under 90,000 is still going to be my high time frame level for when I start to turn bullish again on Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's run is pretty much over. Pretty much over here. All it needs to do is give me a little bit more of a push and then close a weekly on the 115, under 115. Daily, we already closed. So now it's just a matter of, and this here was barely an SMR. This was barely an SMR. And it left a daily open on the 7.9. So the fact that we bounced first from the weekly open last week, absolute garbage PA, right? Because everyone thought this was bearish, but in reality, you're right, it was bearish, but the problem is it's bearish where market makers are trying to fake everyone out, right? So I'm layering in my short heavy. I'm going to keep going. I'm basically going to keep adding up until to 120 and then hold it. My TPs are basically under 90. So I posted that already. Feel free to check my channel. I'm already in it. My average, I think, is 115.820. Here we go. I'll put it in the chart here so you guys can see it. Here's 115.820. That is my current average. And I have limits layered up. I forgot the exact levels. You could check my channel, but I have limits layered up between like 118 to 123, and I'm basically going to keep adding, right? So that, because all this is going to be a retest on the weekly if we push to the highs here. So yeah, all-time highs pretty much confirmed for me. Once we get one more 2 to 3 weeks close on 115, then we're all the way back down to back down to 90, under 90, right? Probably by the end of the year. By the end of the year, I would see us back under 90K. So that's that. Let's keep going. What else we got? I'll do Ethereum. Honestly, I haven't been able to do Ethereum pretty well recently. I do have the highs taken here, and we did actually clear it. I'm skeptical about Ethereum, very skeptical, because the weekly is still bullish. We could be bouncing on this order block right now, but the monthly and everything above that is actually starting to flip bearish because we have a monthly open here. So even if we close right where we are now this month, then I would actually expect Ethereum to go back down to 2K by next year. So, I mean, yeah, it's a little weird. Again, it's a little weird. I do not like where it is right now. I wouldn't long it. I wouldn't short it. I might short it, honestly, but I don't like it. This is actually a fairly clean market maker sell structure where we do have 3 consolidations to the high. What would confirm this to me is if we do consolidate and then break this low right at 4K. If we break the low at 4K and then retest again, that would confirm it for me. So I think Ethereum is on its way down from here, but it's a little too early to say for sure. So I don't want to long it. I don't want to short it. I just want to let it be. Let it do its thing, right? No, there's plenty of other coins out there that have way better structures than Ethereum does. But yeah, I would say I'm not going to be bullish on it until we break 3,000 again. So, and because we took this high already. So yeah. I'm going to answer some of your questions and get through some of the coins you guys asked about. So first off, I got a request for ENA. Let's take a look at that one. ENA. Let's see. Last time I did ENA was a while ago. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. This was actually August, early August I did ENA. Interestingly enough, we did break above this range, and now we are probably, I do not like this though. This is not, let's see, what is this? Is this supported? It is. Okay, so fair enough. I mean, this is, it does have some structure here. It does have a little bit of structure here, I will say. This is not too bad. I'm going to delete this one. If you happen to be in a long, I would say you probably want to put your stop loss somewhere around 65, because if we start to break down somewhere below there, then this entire, like all of this smooth liquidity that's down here was going to be broken, and it's going to basically be going back down to 3.8. So stopping out there would probably be a good idea. Beyond that, I am not convinced until we start to make closures back above 73. This is my previous range previous range low, right above 73, 72. Yellow is more likely at this point. Yellow is more likely where we see effectively a liquidation exit pump, right? Some sort of push to the highs that's very fast and aggressive, but will be the exit pump, right? It'll be the high because we would have had 3 highs from that level. Now, what's interesting here is that this range goes on, let's start from the weekly, because high time frame always wins. We have range BSLs that stack from 97 cents to about $1, right? So between this range here would be the weeklies, and the dailies support it because the next daily open is basically right above that, right? So it's the daily open IRL right there. That would be the only spot left on that range. So honestly, yeah, slightly bullish. I would say you are slightly early for like effectively what's going to be an exit pump, right? We're going to see something where we go up to $1, and then if we start to close below $1, then this is going to go all the way back down to retest range lows on the high time frame back under 30 cents, 38 cents, right? All the way down here. So ENA, I would say still yellow. Yellow. I'm gonna just clean this chart up a little bit, right? Yellow is still gonna be my bias here, somewhere like this. So probably by mid-October, mid to late October, we'll see $1 on ENA, and that will be the high to short. That'll be the high to short because we'll then have a retest back down to 38 cents next year, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, guys. That'll be nice. Yeah, and this is honestly, this is also range balance right here, right at the $1. So there's a lot of confluence right at $1 on ENA if we were to push that high. Okay, cool. Let's check out Link. Cool. So I took a short. I called it out earlier on Link. My average is 20. Oh, no, not Link. Sorry, ADA. I was looking about ADA. I'm sorry. I'll do ADA in a minute. Yes. Link, we did not make a higher high here, guys. Look at that. Ready? See? This is a very bullish structure. It was supported. It took the high from the previous took the previous high and made closures below, and then supported the bearish structure. We didn't make a higher high here. I'm not interested in Link until we get under $18, right? It doesn't matter what we do until then. I wouldn't long it. I mean, I would short it actually. It's not a bad short. You could honestly risk anchor against this high, and if it breaks and makes a higher high here, then you're already, it's a very, very, very clean invalidation. Because after that point, if it does do that, then it's going to go all the way up to 40, right? This market is very full of manipulation, guys, remember? So if it does do that, it goes up to 40, all that's going to happen is it's going to go back down to 18 anyway. It'll go back down to 18 after that. Because on the high time frame, this range, this was never taken. If we take this high from before on the 38 to 40 on a manipulation wick, right? This manipulation wick would need to close a monthly and a weekly above 40 for continuation. Otherwise, red is going to play out, right? So it does need a lot of time here. But in terms of the lower time frames, let's take another look. I would say it's still bearish supported because this range has been cleared. And even as we took this from here, right there, it's stuck. Price has been stuck because we wicked into the bearish levels twice now. So the only invalidation would be if we're able to close above $25 on a daily candle. If we can close above 25 on a daily, then it would invalidate this. Otherwise, I'm not touching Link with a 10-foot pole until it gets under 20, ideally $18 to $17, right? Those are I have this circled for a reason. Cool. Let's keep going. What else we got? GD. Oh, yes. Good question. Understand how does this particular confirm the all-time high? I would like to understand how you reach the conclusion. Yes. So, there's many, if you're talking about Bitcoin, it's many factors, many factors. To put it simply though, we have this monthly, we've had 3 drives up on the month. We have not, so if you take the measured range on the high time frame monthly, you measure the range from this SMR low to the current high where it bounced. So this was where it bounced to current high. If you notice, where we are now, this is not the bullish bias. Bullish bias is down here, right? The fact that when we were over here at the 106, the 107, the fact that we're over here and we never retested 93, we never properly retested it, this is then what I refer to as a market maker sell model, right? Where we're effectively going to flip this. Now, here's a weekly, right? right here, this weekly gap, we have order blocks here, right? And we have another order block here. And then we have a weekly IRL right there. Now, if we close, and I'll put a single line on this chart. I know there's shit ton of lines here. Sorry, let me switch to a different chart. Let's do this one. Oh geez, I have every single chart marked. I literally have every single chart marked. Let me try this one. Okay, great. Single line here, right? This is the only line you need. Maybe 2 lines. There's 2 lines here, right? These 2 yellow levels, if we make a single weekly close under either or both of those 2 levels, the all-time high is confirmed on Bitcoin, right? Because what's going to happen is we are going to then flip this weekly, go back to the long bias, and even if we do pump to the highs, it's going to flip this weekly order block and then reject at the 108, probably on the monthly, right? And guess what that happens? Continue, right? That's a confirmation for the bearish bias. And then we have open gaps all the way down to 65 on this range, guys, right? So another reason why, and if you look on the curve here, this has just been straight up, guys. This is not a sustainable move, right? Everyone's so friggin' hyped on Bitcoin. Even when it pushed up here, this was a sustainable move. That's sustainable, yes. But now that we're up here, we need to go back here to at least be even semi-bullish again, right? We need to clear out everyone who's bullish now on Bitcoin, and then when they become bearish again, that's when price will go to 500,000, right? That's when price will go parabolic, right? From there. Until then, right? Until then, it's just going to go like this, right? That's kind of what I see, right? We go back down, clear 60,000 on the weekly, probably by 1 or 2 years from now. Then that's the buy. We take that all the way back up to 200 to 500K, right, on Bitcoin. This is the high right now. This will be the all-time high on the weekly, confirmed. Trust me, my high time frame has never let me down. Sometimes I'll get a little too early. Sometimes I'll oversize a little bit. But every time I stay patient with my plays, I've literally always won. Even though I take some losses, even though I, it would end up being correct. Like, it would end up being correct. If I sized correctly sometimes, or I entered a little bit later or waited, it would end up always being correct. So I'm going to trust myself here. As soon as we get the weekly close under 114, 113, Bitcoin's all-time high will be confirmed. So hopefully that helps you, GD and D0, as well. Same thing with hype. Hype, super bearish on. So many factors here are pointing to this being also the all-time high on hype, where we take this high, we close anywhere under 50 on the weekly. We do this, we close anywhere under 50. This next retest is just going to go right back down. We never retested the bullish bias zone on this, right? Hype is going back down under 30, possibly 20 to 16. That's when I'll long it, right? I'm not longing it up here. I want to long it down here. Until then, I'm short. And I still have my short. I'm still holding it. No changes, guys, right? No changes. It doesn't matter if we pump here. I'll add to it more. Sorry, my headphones just got glitched out. I'll add more because at this point it's going to keep taking BSL. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I'll look at Sol. Yeah, Sol also very bearish on. Also very bearish on Sol. It basically just made a bearish market structure break on the monthly here, right? Now we're retesting previous range balances. Here's I'll make this in yellow, right? Oh, I have too many yellows here. What should I do? I'll do orange, right? Here's orange, previous range right there. Actually, and I'll do another chart so you guys can see. Binance. Yeah, this is a little better. Here, I'll clean this up a little bit, right? We have previous range high, low, and previous range high, followed by low in the future, right? high in the past, low in the future, high in the past, low in the future, right? This is the low, high in the past, low in the future. We mark these at the OTE fibs. Guess what? I'm going to circle these levels here. You see those lines? What does that mean? This means we are in the premium. Premium, guys. Premium means it's marked up. Price is marked up. Discount is when you buy. Premium is when you sell. It's not a hard concept, right? You sell when it's premium. You buy when it's discount. So market dynamics here, we get a weekly close underneath 220, tracking this as well, basically yellow. Underneath 220, we're in danger zone on Sol. Danger, danger. Danger, danger, because once we do this, even if we wick this high one more time, I have more limits up here. I cancel them for now, but I'm gonna take a manual add. Even if we wick this high, and then close anywhere below 220 on the weekly, all of this smooth liquidity is open. And look, get this, right? From this low on the quarterly, yes, I'm gonna go on the quarterly, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. I'm not trying to mess with you guys. This is the low, right? This is the high. And we look at the extension from where we retested it. We've only retested one level, the 6.2. We didn't even test the 705 yet. We didn't even test this 705 right here. And we didn't even test the 7.9 either, right? So if we happen to have monthly closes under 200 or weekly closes under 220, this is going all the way down to 30, guys. Look at this gaps here. There's gaps open. That's why I say 30, because there's one there. Look at this. Price does not like to leave inefficiencies. It's mechanical. It's really, that's it, right? It goes all the way down. You have open gaps all the way down under 60, possibly all the way down to 20, 24, right? Before this becomes bullish on the high time frame again, at which point I would gladly long to 1,000. But I do not think this is going to do it. And I'll be honest, even if we do break this high, even if we do a liquidation pump and break this high, I'm still bearish. I'm still bearish even if we make a higher high, because at this point, this structure has not, this has been a purely bearish. Like you look at this, right? You say bear flag, right? You see bear flag for those of you who trade patterns. This is not a sustainable push, right? In a sustainable push, you would see proper SMRs that are defended on the bearish side. You only have one right here where we took the liquidity low, right? Even here, liquidity is open, right? This was not taken on that order block. Even here, liquidity is open. Liquidity was not taken on the order block. Every single push up, we've left a bullish undefended wick, right? So the structure here does not scream bullish to me at all. It screams manipulation to the bearish side, right? Manipulation up such that it fills bearish orders, right? So that's another thing. I'm holding this. It's a small size short, but I don't want to. I really don't want to long this here because there's no way to really anchor a stop. Even if you were to look at this like on the daily, like even the daily time frame, there's flat order blocks here on the 200. There's so many open gaps. This chart is like one of the most ugliest charts I could think of, next to like TWT maybe. And it like left gaps. It didn't fully clear some of these. It's just so ugly, guys. I think this is a pure manipulation pump on Sol, right? And it's already closing below the 705 now. So if it closes under the 6.2 on the weekly and isn't able to flip it, if it just goes like this and consolidates, I'm gonna keep adding. I'm gonna keep adding to my short because it's gonna confirm that it's gonna go sweep those lows back down at $30. Cool. So hopefully that helps. Since you were talking about Sol, let's see. I'm gonna go through some of the rest of the requests here. Prompt. Let's do prompt. I have never heard of that one. What is this one? Wayfinder. Interesting. It's a new coin. Interesting. Huh. Wow. I mean, this is I don't know what to tell you besides you see that this is the only chart I need. So first of all, if you guys don't know me well enough, I only care about high time frame moves. I only care about very, very large moves. I do not care about small moves. I do not care about scalping. Sometimes I scalp, but not too much. Um, I like to pick a coin, stick with it, and then just commit, right? This, I'll be honest, this is too balanced, right? If I were to draw the 50% right here, look at this. We literally made an order block and rejected right there, right? We are technically in discount, right? From the order block right now. We are in discount, but it's a whole lot of chop, right? It's a whole lot of chop. And the two orange lines are really the two lines that I care about. The only lines that matter on this chart to me are the two orange lines where if we break this low in liquidity on the weekly, then I'll long it. This low needs to be broken. And right now it's looking like we want to break that low. I'll be honest. This is a very I don't really like this chart. I can't really get a good clean read out of it. But if we're talking like scalps, maybe. Oh, this is not even bullish. It's not even bullish because the liquidity is too smooth there, right? And you have like one gap here. But the problem here is even though if it dumps here and you long it, all it's going to do, guys, is it's going to go here, it's going to bounce, and then it's going to flip this level only because it's reconsolidating, right? So this is not a sustainable bearish chart either, or bullish chart either. And it's not even a good short. I mean, you could short it probably from here, but that's not even the that's the other thing. Like even this is not a good short because this is not even the bearish range. It would have to go back above. So I'll chart this one more time here. Let's do OTEs on that. I wouldn't do anything with this until we break above 29, and then I would short it. If we do this, this would be a perfect short to the low, right? This would be a very, very high probability short. Where it is now, it's not high probability, long or short, right? We're traders, right? We only want to do high probability because assuming you do long, the only spot to long from would be this range low down here, right? Which is the current draw. But the problem with that is that as soon as you see this and you see the bounce here, the only thing you're going to get from this move is a retest of this balance, this previous range, because it is already reconsolidated below the 50% of the monthly. So it's just going to take the lows anyway, right? So this one, I'll be honest, pretty ugly. I don't want to sugarcoat it. Pretty ugly. But I don't. I mean, I wouldn't do anything until shorting it, maybe back up here, right? I wouldn't even long it down here. This is pretty ugly. Hopefully that helps. I know I'm brutally honest. We are here to make money, not be nice to each other, right? We're here to make money. So let's do Chia. 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 Every time I see Chia or hear Chia, I think cha-ching because this is like an ATM machine for me. I have like literally, I scalped this 3 or 4 times. No problem, Gotham. Glad to help. I scalped this 3 or 4 times. I already got a couple pumps, but every single time it has failed to make the high time frame break, which I'm waiting for. This is and I'll just briefly, I know like a lot of people some of you guys probably are aware of it. I posted this chart. I have limits right now in the 12-hour, which is, let me mark it up real quick. I forgot exactly what they are. They're like right down here, right? So I layered in, basically limits all the way down to, like 8.5 roughly. Because one thing, I'll clean this chart up here. One thing here is this SMR low has already been confirmed. That's the secret about this. The secret about this is that we confirmed it when we actually made the market structure break way back in May. All this is doing is just reconsolidating. So if we can reconsolidate just a little bit longer, it's going to actually then break and take the highs and end up never returning under $10. So this chart, super, super, super clean. I've been buying spot in bags, and I've also have these limits open. I posted them in my channel already, and I'm gonna ride this back up to 20. Once we get back up to 20, reconsolidate, maybe take a few TPs, re-add on every single retracement after that, because these are daily, weekly, monthly eco lows that are cleared within high time frame, all time low. That's basically already confirmed, right? So it's if you're worried about it, you can anchor your stop there. I do not expect this stop being taken. So basically, just easily add into it as much as possible from like 9.5 to 8.5, and that'll be the next range until we go back up to 20. So XCH, same, pretty good there, pretty clean. TNSR. Also looking pretty good. Also looking really good. Woo. This is amazing. This one's great because we have already an SMR here. And if we retest this range, we don't even need to go any closer, any further down, actually. This one's getting there. This one's getting very close. Here it is, right here. Right here. This is when we start to see some interesting things happen. I'm going to do... Actually, thank you for mentioning TNSR, because the moment we close a daily above 11.7 and flip it, this is going to be the low, and we're actually going to be targeting all the way up to 28. So I would expect something like this to happen. So the next IRL is open all the way up to 22 to 30 on the daily. So what I'll do here is it's probably sometime next week, 2 to 3 weeks from now. We have about 2 to 3 weeks before we see this pump, but it is going to be a pretty glorious one. I'm going to do a daily close above 11.7 for a confirmation. Close above TNSR long confirm, and I'll see if I can take this on a market entry when we start to break back above 11.7, and I'll see if I can call this out for you guys as well. We're very close to this as well. This is really good. Okay, Graphane. Let's see. I'm going to see how quickly I can get through some of these. I know there's a lot through chat here. Graphane also incredibly bullish here. Needs a little bit more consolidation. My levels go down to 32 roughly. So and I drew this up in September. It's already panning out pretty nicely. The bearish, look at this, the bearish, this is not random, right? This bearish OT levels were supported. Now we got to see the bullish OT levels down here supported. So this is, I'll circle it, nice big fat circle right here. Underneath 0.033, I want to do, if I were to do limits, I would probably do limits around the blue levels down there. So I'll clear this up a little, right? Something like that. Teal, maybe blue. Basically between 0.32 and 0.31. I want to see it bounce. I want to see a wick, and then I want to see it bounce, and then make closures back above. And then if it does, then I will take the long, because the next range brings us above 8. I'll do this right here, above 8, followed by 35. There we go. That's the range, because we reclaim the 8 and retest the 4. We're going to 35 after that, right? So there's another nice big mover that I'm watching. I'll call this one out as well when on my channel when I do take it. But for now, I'm waiting. It's patient, right? Patience pays. Cool. What else we got? S. Let's do S, and I'll see what I can also get through here. S. Cool. S, yeah, S is pretty balanced here. I think I drew this up in early August as well. I want to see this break now. We're slightly too early. This is not quite Not quite an SMR low yet. Not quite. So we could drop a little bit here. And honestly, you can see we have open liquidity here on the downside. The bearish liquidity was taken. So honestly, I am looking, sorry, the bullish liquidity was taken. So I'm looking at the bearish probability more. I would say I'm going to move these over slightly. Something like this, I would want to see some sort of drop, more of a drop. Whether or not this goes and stops at 25 or stops at 23 and takes this low, that's unknown. But until then, we need to see, honestly, this one is the better one right here. 35. I want to see 35 broken. Because if we do that, if we break 35, we're going to retest this bounce right here. That's a better entry. So it's a little weird right here. I wouldn't do much with it yet. But we're building. Something's going to happen. I'm thinking we break a couple more lows first, though. A couple more lows. Not sure how many lows, but we're going to break a couple more lows here. Let's do ADA. Awesome. Cool. So I also caught an ADA short at market entry, and it's now completely de-risked. I pulled my SL break even. My average is 92. Let me put this in here. 9287. It wasn't the perfect entry, but I got a market entry right here at this order block, and already put my SL break even pretty much. My TPs for this range are basically all the way down here on the breaks of this range. I want to see the deviation here. The bullish range has not been fully retested. This is the same thing, right? Same story, guys. This respected bearish range, right? Look at those wicks, right? Closed below, and then respected bearish range again from this high, right? So bearish, bearish, bearish on ADA until we break below 70 cents, right? Once we get down to 70 cents, we map that. I want to see, here I'll circle it for you guys, right here. There it is, right there. That's the level. It's between 66 cents and 59 cents, really. Right here, right? And I'll make this a little clearer, right? Basically between the two yellows, I'll make that, actually no, yellow, I already have yellow here. I'll do teal. There we go. Right, so between the two teal levels is when you want to see a reversal. And we want to see a reversal there. And that will be the higher low, right? Higher low from here. And then we will continue for the bullish case, right? Until then, just holding my short. Holding my short. No TPs. Not TPing until we break this range. Then I'll start TPing. I'm currently up a little bit. It was a small short, but you know, on 20x it was like, you know, 200% ROI, but it's still kind of small, but whatever. So let's see what else is next. ADA. JJ, don't you think BTC market dynamics have changed though with all the ETFs, institutionals, blah, blah? Isn't it different? JJ, I'll be honest with you. I've been in the crypto market for, I don't know, over 10 years now. Nothing's changed. Since the Silk Road, since Mt. Gox, nothing's changed. Yes, there's institutions. Yes, in the sense, a lot has changed, right? I'll be honest. Yes, a lot has changed in the landscape of the macro factors, the institutions, the ETFs, all of those things, right? But everything has changed and nothing has changed. Where everything has changed in terms of the narrative, but nothing has changed in terms of the market dynamics. There's still manipulation, no matter where you look. I could go back and show you on the chart where I traded Bitcoin when it was $2 and $10 and $20 and $1 again. And it's the same thing. It was manipulation then. It's manipulation now, right? And I was trading on Mount Gox back, 10 friggin' 14 years ago or something. I lost track of time. So, yeah. Point being, nothing has changed, but everything has changed. You're right in a sense. You're right on target with the sense that yes, many things have changed. But I would say in terms of how that structures, or how structures are made in coins and charts on the coins, that hasn't changed. The fact that we have wider swings, bigger manipulation cycles, those are different, right? Because you have bigger liquidity events, you have bigger liquidations, you have institutional money flow. All of those are factors where way back when I was trading Bitcoin, when I first started, it would go from 20 cents to $1. And, technically that was what, like a 5x. But, if you think about it, okay, that's not, a huge 5x is a big move, but 20 cents to $1 is still, small amounts if you talk about, the number values of current coins and where they are now. Cool. So enough of that garbage. Let's keep going. Useless and useless coins. Geez, you have useless coins? Come on. What's going on here? Spot chart. Here we go. Let's look at this. Top down. Quarterly flat. This is not too good. Quarterly flat's not too good. Monthly failed to make a higher high, right? From this range, tapped bullish bias once. Monthly, weekly. Oh, here's the danger zone right here. Daily. Oh, weird. This is weird. Wow. This is very weird. Yeah. I think this is going to mess people up. I'll be honest. I think it's going to mess you up. Mess anyone, not you, but just in general, mess people up. So I'll put this on the chart. We can come back to it, but bullish bias was never tapped here. We need to go down more. But what's funny about this is that if we flip this level on the daily, it's going to wick to this high. And if it can't close above 33, it's going to go straight back down. So good luck with that. I mean, this is going to be rough. This one's going to be rough. Rough. It would need to bounce after breaking this low at 18. Not a clean chart, I'll be honest. Not a clean one. But after that, we want to see that high taken. Oh, geez. This is giving me an aneurysm just thinking about how stressful this is going to be when this happens. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, what I might do, this is actually not too bad of a short, though, if you take the limits against this range and then risk anchor from the previous high. That's not too bad of a short. Yeah, JJ, hit me up on DMs if you have questions too. Happy to answer your questions. Or sometimes I check chat, not always, but if I don't check chat, hit me up on DMs. Happy to answer your questions. But yes, useless. I don't know. This is a little weird. I feel like we're going to get another manipulation pump on useless here, where we basically just sweep that low, pump really high, really fast, and then sell off immediately again, possibly into October. So, yeah, PYTH, TH, yep, there we go. No problem. Oh, yeah, so PYTH actually does have a pretty decent structure here. This is pretty decent. It does have one undefended low there, but this range, the current weekly range it's in, is bullish. So we did take that high. We are wicking into that bullish bias zone, and then the weekly doesn't have anything open until all the way up here at 86. And then what about the daily? Oh yeah, and then we reclose above here. This is going to be insanely bullish when we do break this range, actually. This is really good. I'm glad you pointed my eyes on this one. I haven't looked at PYTH in a while. But yeah, it looks like it's the same thing, guys. This is like same story. This is like, oh, and we do have a daily open right under here. That's the one thing. So if we measure the range from here, yeah, we could wick through here. I want to see this mitigated. We're a little too early on everything. Like if you were to do a long here, it's a little too early. I want to see some sort of wick here, either break 11.7 and then reclaim, right? And then after 11.7 reclaim, it needs to be able to bounce. Otherwise, this would be what I would need to see. So if we do that, then we would actually be clear to like at least target one of these dailies up here, maybe up here, 62. This would be the next range high, right? So something like that I would want to see. A little bit of chop though going into this on the PITH. I would see just because if you notice this is a bearish defended wick. We took the high and then we closed below this daily, right? And now this daily is closing below balance here. So I would say slightly bearish right now, but it's moving into very, very high confluence levels to long. There's one daily that's open way down here, so I would be a little careful if you are anchoring a stop loss right here, because this low could actually still be taken at 10 cents in a wick, right? This wick could be yellow or it could be this, like we could do some chop like this and then wick all the way down here only to close back above, right? So this would be the two probabilities I see from this range. I'm going to put this in a level right there. So basically between tapping two different range balances here. This one would be, the range lows. So basically the 11 or 12 cents really, and I'll circle this, basically the 12 cents or the break of 10 cents. So I would say if you want to enter this, you could do limits, or you could wait. I know it's hard to wait, but waiting is probably a better choice of action here until we can see what happens on the daily candles with this range. Because what we will see is you'll end up seeing this. The next consolidation that's about to print will actually be a market structure that will then be broken on the daily, possibly into next month. So next month, that's the one that this should start moving again. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Dot, LDO, Pepe, Pengu. I don't have time for all of those. I'm already way over time. I'm sorry, guys. There's a bunch of requests here that just came in. I'm seeing all your requests. There's Dot, LDO, Pepe, Pengu, Omni, Cookie, Fartcoin. I'm gonna try and just do. I'm gonna do Cookie since that's someone else. Vince Shaw, I did a request from you already. I'm gonna do Cookie, and then let's jump into some of the questions that you guys have as well. Let's start from the high time frame, work our way down, right? So same thing here. We have our high taken, slightly bearish on the quarterly, our current SMR low, our current previous range low, and there's our range. Let's look at the monthly. Reclaim, we need a reclaim there. This is not yet quite good. This is actually this is okay. This is okay. We're looking okay. Look, you see we got a wick in right here. Look at that. We already mitigated this. So, but I think we're a little too early. If you're long on this, I think you're just a tad bit too early because we need to see, there's a flat right here too. Slightly dangerous. I would say we need to see this market structure broke right here. So yellow is the level. What I would expect is this pathing. We have slightly small break, reconsolidate, break of the high to 17, retest, range 13, and then continue, right? That's the only structure here that would make sense to me. If we're going to retain the bullish bias, we didn't actually mitigate this low yet, so I'm going to put that up right here on teal. So this wick could actually go further down. It could go all the way down to even break 10 cents, right? So be careful of that. We're a little almost there. This is a little too early to long, this one from this range. And I do not like this wick. The daily's okay. The weekly's better. Everything above the daily, everything below the daily is a little bit more bearish from here. But I want to see this low taken right here. This low, this is a relative equal. Actually, this is pretty clean right here. This is a danger zone. Everyone's putting their stop loss here. Oops. Uh-oh. Everyone's putting their stop loss right there. This is going to be taken. We take that. That's the SMR here. Then we break after. We break the market structure. So I'll structure this here, break this high here, and then retest that balance, and then continue, right? And as you can see, take a screenshot if you want. We can come back to this next week or whatever and see if I'm right, okay? But this is the path that I would expect Cookie to take over the next month, right? Cool. Okay, I will do dot since you're begging me. You're absolutely begging me. So dot also in my name. Yes. Dot is actually quite nice here. The monthly already flipped. We closed above previous ranges, but we're not out of the woods yet. We're not out of the woods. I do have this here. I basically meant that we break this low and consolidate, and which is exactly what we're doing right now. So I'll restructure this slightly. We flipped this weekly. This is already bullish. Already bullish, guys. Oh my goodness. Weekly doesn't have much. I mean, we have one up here. Weekly doesn't have much. This is the next weekly open right there. That's $13. Ooh, dot's making its way to $13 from here. Okay, so we have our high time frame draw. We have our SMR. We broke above this range. We've mitigated this balance already, so we have that. We have multiple higher lows. We have one flat in the daily, so a little bit more reconsolidation here. We got nice relative equal highs right there. So already the bears are undefended here already. Bears are undefended. So if price continues to push down, I would actually expect to be bullish and break the 5-9 from here. So I'll put this in level, right? Something like somewhere between like 3.8 to 3.7, roughly. Reconsolidate, and then straight up to 596, and then reconsolidate again to balance. And then the next move will be the weekly, which will basically be the one that goes to 13. Right? So there we go. There's dot. Dot is close to a pretty big move. We want to see probably this week and next week price continue to push down. If we continue to push down, we will then be mitigating this range here, which we have not mitigated yet, right? We mitigate that range at 3.8 to 3.6, reconsolidate above 3.8, reclaim 4 on a daily or weekly closure. All that's going to happen is it's going to wick into this range here. It probably might do something like, it might not wick into it, but it might just tap it and then like reject again. But I would expect it to basically just push the highs after that, possibly either through a wick or through a bullish consolidation. Cool. So hopefully that's helpful. So yeah, let's see what else is next. Oh my goodness, Pengu. Okay, one more. That's it. The Pengu, and I gotta run. I know. Oh wait, no, Fart Coin. I'll do Fart Coin, then I gotta run. I know you guys are like hammering me here. Jeez. Um, let's see, Pengu. Did I? Where is this? Is that? There we go. Okay, hold on. Let me just make sure I. Here we go. Okay, great. Let's look at this again. Wait, this is not it. This is Peng. I'm like, wait a second. That's not the right chart. Yeah, here we go. Um, also very iffy. Also very iffy. Here's the thing, right? This range, very wide. Never tapped. Never tapped bullish bias on the high time frame. With that said, if we were to take the high, I would actually expect it to continue to the low. This is not even. Let's see. What did we even? We did. We retested the daily already. This is bearish delivery. Bearish delivery. We have a low that we closed under already. 2 weeklies, 2 dailies. We got a weekly close right here. Here's a weekly right there. Yellow. If we close this week under 0.32, we're going to do this. Whoop. See you later. All the way down. Possibly down to 13 or 0.13. Pretty bearish on this. Oh, and yeah, Harry, bro, your TA is completely different. I haven't seen anything like any of the analysts I've ever come across. Yes, it might be due to your take in the large time frames. Yeah, I do. I mean, it's not just large time frames. It's well, first of all, thank you, appreciate the vote of confidence. But it's not just large time frames. I mean, every analyst, I'm sure, takes into account large time frames. I try and keep things very simple. Simplicity is key, right? You don't want to overcomplicate it. As you can see in my chart, I have 0 indicators, none. Besides one, I sometimes use the EMAs, sometimes. And actually, the fact that I'm looking at this now actually shows me that this is incredibly bearish because this calculated a daily EMA that's actually under. So that's a sign that this is bearish too. So I would say, yeah, this is like, short, keep, short bias here. Even if we reconsolidate on the daily, something like that would be what I expect to happen. So yeah, would like to see a probable big short on big PTC. I'm already in the short, dude. Harry, I'm already in the short. So, dude, where are you at? Where are you at? Harry, come get in my corner, man. I'm already in the short. You missed the party or something? I'm already in. But remember, wrist size, cool, wrist size. And again, as I said, I have limits above, right? I didn't actually close those limits yet. I still have the limits above current price on Bitcoin. And I just want to keep adding, right? So as I said earlier in the stream. So yeah, cool. Pengu, bearish. I mean, you can anchor against 0.38. Kind of a terrible range. I think I had a Pengu short all the way up here, but I got impatient and I closed it. I shouldn't have, but whatever, it happens. Now it's just confirming, right? Something like this I would want to see. I'd want to see a bounce somewhere above 18 if you want to be bullish, right? Somewhere around here. Right now, oh yeah, BTC. I'm in at 1% at 14x. 1% at 14x, and then I have 2 more limits at about 1% each, 14x. I posted in my channel, dude. Just read, dude. You read my channel. It's in my channel. It's in the Bitcoin thread. But yes, appreciate everyone. I do have to run. If you want, you can hit me up. DMs are always open. and I'll post my stream. I'll post a recording on later on YouTube, and feel free to hit me up anytime. I'll catch you all later. Have a good rest of your day.